Happy Halloween, everyone, because this is the best day of the year. What better way to celebrate than to rank every Michael Myers in the entire Halloween franchise? Alright, so some of the things I'll be considering when I rank the Michaels is the look of the character, how they kind of navigate the movie that they're in. Is there anything unique about the Michael in that movie? And also, maybe some bonus points as well for some cool ass kills. And also keep in mind as I go through this list, I like every Michael Myers in the entire franchise, obviously to a varying degree, and we'll talk all about that. Anyways, let's get into the rankings. So coming in last place at number 12 is going to be the Michael Myers from Halloween Ends from 2022. So this is easily one of the least scary Michael Myers in the entire franchise. Even Laurie agrees. Michael's out there on the loose. He's in sewers and stuff, and Laurie doesn't even care. She's just baking pies and just like, you know what? Who really cares? I'm over it. So she kind of does agree. Michael also in this movie, he gets his ass kicked by a nerdy kid. And now I like Corey's character. I do, but come on, guys. After the whole band thing and then Corey, you're like, who is this kid? Now he's kicking Michael's ass? Like, this is just weird. Also, he gets his ass kicked by a 60-year-old Laurie. So that's not great for the character. And I understand how that fits with his character as well, how they're both aging. I get that. But also, on top of that, Michael doesn't even show up until what? 40 minutes into the movie, guys? Like, this is just weird. The one thing Halloween Ends definitely has going for it, as far as Michael Myers goes, is, of course, the mask is returning in this one. And it's even, like, grungier and dirtier. And, it's burnt, of course, which is great. The mask looks really good. I can't lie. That, it's a great aspect of this. I like how the latex on one of the sides of the mask is basically just completely worn down on the side. And yeah, of course, you have James Jude Courtney back again playing Michael Myers, which is good. He's doing what he can with the material and the script and the storyline that he's working with here. There's only so much that could be said about that. It's not really his fault. But this is definitely where Michael starts veering off way into the supernatural again. He's seeing into Corey's soul. He's like putting evil inside of him or something. I don't know, guys. Do you even know what's going on there? I'm sure you have predictions. I have ideas, but I will say, okay, so just to wrap things up, the main reason to me why Halloween Ends, Michael Myers from Halloween Ends, is last on the list for me is because of a few reasons. So the best kills in Halloween Ends, and there are some pretty good kills in this movie, are without question from Corey and not Michael. Now, the weird supernatural stuff, that's fine. That doesn't really bother me that much. They take a swing, and I'm okay with that, right? But it makes no sense in this timeline, in my opinion, compared to 1978 and the 2018 movie. It's just completely out of left field. But there you go. Halloween Ends, the Michael Myers from Halloween Ends, coming in last place at number 12. All right, up next at number 11 is going to be the Michael Myers from Halloween Resurrection from 2002. Michael versus Dangertainment, right, guys? And yes, of course, it's dumb, in my opinion, that they changed the incredible ending, Halloween H2O, Michael getting his head chopped off. No, it's not Michael. It was just another guy. I don't love that, but a lot of people have gripes with Resurrection as far as Michael Myers goes because they're like, yeah, Michael gets so disrespected in this movie. How could they do that to our character, to our Michael Myers? And to me, I feel like the disrespect in this movie is way overblown. It is not even on the same level as the disrespect to Michael Myers in a way in Halloween Ends. Michael's still all over the place in this movie, the beginning, the middle, the end. He's kicking people's ass. He's killing people left and right. And people like to say, oh yeah, but Busta Rhymes, beats him up at the end of the movie. Well, you weren't complaining in all the other movies when Laurie Strode was kicking Michael's ass. Busta Rhymes is a pretty big dude. Plus, he's been training in karate, right? Watching all those movies, right? You got to give him a little something for that. No, but really, at the end of the movie, I think, like I said, it's overblown. Yeah, Busta Rhymes gets in some shots on Michael, but the only reason he's able to electrocute his balls is because he catches him off guard. He tricks him. Michael thinks he's either dead or knocked out, and then he goes, gotcha, and gets him. So it's like, the kind of disrespect of Michael Myers in this movie is way overblown, in my opinion. I also think the mask in Resurrection's pretty solid as well. I like it. It's got a nice little kind of emotionless look to it. The side profile is pretty good. Yeah, the hair is a little spiky at times, but I think that's because of the lamp thing. He got electrocuted at the beginning. But yeah, I mean, that's not great, but it does kind of fit for the era a little bit. But overall, the look of Michael is pretty good in this movie. But a gripe that I do have with Michael in Resurrection is that the kills in this movie are very mediocre. Yeah, Michael is killing, a good amount of people in the movie, but maybe my favorite kill, I guess, is the head crunch kill from the guy that we could literally care less about, nor do I know his name. That's okay. I mean, that's just an average kill, or the girl getting her head chopped off, which rolls down the stairs, which is more just funny than anything else. But in a movie that I would assume was made to be pretty silly, they should have just gone crazy with the gore in this movie. I think, of course, that would have felt a little weird for a Halloween movie, but still, this type of a movie, make it like a Jason X and just give us some damn good kills. And yeah, you could argue that this is one of the least scary Michaels in the franchise, especially that moment when Busta Rhymes is dressed up like Michael. And I get that's kind of where the disrespect comes in as well. He's dressed up like Michael. They come face to face, and he's basically just like at the end, go away, Michael, go do something else. And Michael's just like, oh, okay, kind of whimpers away. I get that that's not a great moment for the character by any means, but overall, I think Brad Loree, who plays Michael in this, does a fine job. There's no major complaints from the character about kind of like his movement or his execution or anything like that in the movie. But to me, the main reason why Michael from Resurrection isn't last on the list is because, as opposed to a movie like Halloween Ends, I feel like Michael is still a force in this movie. He's not a character you'd want to run into anywhere. And yeah, in Halloween Ends, you could say that as well. But in Halloween Ends, he almost seems like a character like one of us could kick his ass because he's so weak and just not really that character we've kind of came to love. And I get how that fits into that story. He's supposed to be old and worn down, and the kills kind of revitalize him in a sense. But in this movie, I mean, he'll fuck you up. Like that opening at the hospital, Michael's doing some cool stuff. He's creeping around. He's killing the security guards. We're finding the head in the dryer. That's a good moment. That's a creepy moment. And Michael's doing what he does. So yeah, there you go. Halloween Resurrection, the Michael Myers from it at number 11. Okay, up next at number 10 is going to be Michael Myers from Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers from 1989. And I'm just going to go ahead and just say the movie instead of saying Michael Myers from this movie. You get what I'm saying. But in this movie, I mean, there is a lot going on. And to talk about with Michael Myers, I mean, he even cries at one point in this movie. But to kick things off in this movie with Michael Myers, we get that whole explosive river scene, which I've talked about before, but it's actually a scene that I like. Not everybody likes it, but I think it's kind of epic. It gives me chills how Michael's kind of going down the river. The music kicks in. I like that scene for his character, and it's a scene in this movie that I'll never forget. But to piggyback off of that, so this old guy basically gave Michael free room and board for a year, and then Michael just cuts his ass up? Like, that's messed up, dude. Come on. But so Michael was getting nursed back to life by a hermit down here for a year, just kind of sleeping. Like, that is a weird storyline. Imagine being in the writing room, or, imagine being the person writing this and just thinking of that idea to yourself. And that's one of those things you just need to like read out loud and think about for a couple days, because it's kind of just a weird storyline. But Michael does get a new tat. So there you go, Michael. You get that at least. But this is, without a doubt, one of the more supernatural Myers in the franchise, which there are some, like I said earlier, I don't mind if they go supernatural and they take a swing, they try something new, like, cool, go for it, do that. But one of the things I really hate in this movie is the whole like Jamie, Michael telepathic thing. Jamie like can't really talk. She's seeing things that Michael's seen, vice versa. It's just weird. It's annoying, and it's way too much. I hate it. And I know some of you watching this are probably thinking to yourself, what? Halloween 5? Michael Myers is not last on this list? The look of him is terrible. It's weird. But to me, I actually think this specific mask, yeah, it's very weird, but the weirdness of it is kind of scary to me. It's a very emotionless face. It's just like this weird, creepy alien doll face kind of a thing. It's also kind of dirty and worn, which I like, and also kind of looks like Nicolas Cage. So bonus points for that as well. We also get the brute mask look for Michael Myers too. That's kind of a cool little scene as well. I like that. But yeah, Don Shanks plays Michael Myers in this movie, and he's not great. Definitely not my favorite portrayal of Michael. There's some scenes where Michael just looks like a dumbass. He's standing like 15 feet away from Loomis, just holding up his knife. Like, hey guys, what are we doing here? You're nowhere near close enough to stab him. Why are you just holding up your knife like a dumbass? You look like a fool. Stop. Cut. Move on to the next scene. Let's do something else here, guys. But I will say, apparently, I guess in this movie, Michael, though, is just really getting into like farming and gardening in this one, which I like. You know, he's bringing out a scythe. He's using that to slaughter people as well, which is kind of a badass weapon and unique in this franchise, which is cool. He gets that kill on that Mike guy with the gardening rake. That's a good one in the movie as well. We also get a little bit of a Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees mesh here. He uses the pitchfork as well. And I like that. I enjoy that. You know, it's fun. But yeah, this is kind of a fun, quirky Michael Myers in the franchise in probably the most bland movie in the franchise. So there you go. Michael from Halloween 5 coming in at number 10. All right, moving right along to number 9, which is going to be Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers from 1995. And we've got this whole thing where Michael is kind of like a pawn of the cult of Thorn, which to me, I would say that's worse than the whole brother-sister timeline. Not that I hate the Thorn timeline. I don't hate the fact that they like went out on a limb and tried something new and added in some, old Celtic stuff and the history of Halloween and all that kind of stuff. I like that. But making Michael a pawn, as far as the other ideas that we get for Michael's evil in this franchise, it's probably my least favorite. Some complaints that I do have with Michael in this movie is he kind of looks puffy at times, like he's wearing a diaper or something, which is a weird look to me. I would say overall, George P. Wilbur plays Michael in this movie, and he's kind of just average to me. Nothing stands out as very good or really terrible, just overall kind of average. He does give us one of the best kills in the franchise, though, when John Strode gets electrocuted and then his head explodes in the theatrical version. A great kill. And then also like Jamie in the barn getting killed there. That's a fun kill as well. The neck snap towards the beginning of the movie is also a good one. Kind of reminds me of the neck twist, neck snap from the final chapter, Axel's kill there, which is also great. But yeah, I think we do get some cool shots of Michael at Smith's Grove at the end of the movie through the hallways with some cool lighting and stuff, which I do enjoy. But overall, with Halloween 6, I have a soft spot for this movie. It's got some great Halloween vibes. Michael kind of fits into that. It's also just like very 90s in every way. And somehow, I don't know how they did it, but they were able to create like this Michael Myers that also oddly feels very 90s as well, his look and how he operates in this movie. But yeah, there you go. Halloween 6, it's not the version of Michael. It's not a great version. It's not a bad version. It's just good. It gets the job done. So there you go. Halloween 6 coming in at number 9. Okay, at number 8 is going to be Halloween 4 from 1988. And I'll say right off the bat, if we would have gotten Michael in bandages, those bloody worn bandages throughout the entire movie, that would have been badass. Let me know down in the comments down below if you agree with that. But in this one, Michael, as a lot of us know, it's the shoulder pad Michael, which just looks weird, especially on the rooftop towards the end of the movie. And there are quite a few moments in this movie where he just looks unathletic and goofy to me, which throws me off as a guy who's supposed to be this killer that people just can't stop. I don't know. I just can't get over it. But I will say he does feel powerful and strong in this movie, though, at quite a few moments. He's killing people left and right with just his fingers and his strength. He's throwing people all over the place off the truck at the end. He puts his thumb into the guy's forehead earlier in the movie. He rips the guy's throat out towards the end of the movie in the truck as well. He's just doing a lot of things and just getting nitty and gritty, which I like from a Michael Myers. I like that when they show the strength quite a bit in the movie. He even throws poor Bucky. Poor Bucky, man. Rest in peace, Bucky. Damn it. But yes, in Halloween 4, let's talk about the mask. So, like some of the movies in this franchise, they just couldn't get the mask right in some scenes. It was a bit of a mess when they were making this movie. At one point, even, the crew was tired. I assume it was very late at night. And we get this like blonde hair mask with these tiny little eye holes, before they were cut out. You're like, all right, guys, what is going on here? Now, the mask from Halloween 4 definitely is growing on me, and it's a mask that I do want to own in my collection. But overall, as far as all of the masks go in the franchise, which I like all of them to a certain extent, It's one of the least scary masks, in my opinion, in the franchise. Now, compared to Halloween 5, that mask, which is weird, and a lot of people don't think it's scary, to me, though, it's so weird and so alien-like that it's creepy and scary. I will say, though, the mask in Halloween 4, I do kind of like the sideburns. It makes this mask kind of look like a creepy doll. But yeah, mainly I have, Michael from Halloween 4 at number 8 because there's really nothing in particular about Michael in Halloween 4 that really stands out as great to me, other than maybe just his strength and how much he kind of just uses his hands to get kills in this movie. But overall, it's a fun movie without a doubt. But Michael, yeah, sits at number 8 in the franchise for me. All right, up next at number 7 is going to be Halloween 2 from 2009. So, yep, this is Forrest Gump hobo Michael Myers just moving along on his journey to do what he does. One thing with this movie, especially in comparison to the first Rob Zombie movie, is this movie benefits from not having Michael Myers too much as a kid, which when he's a kid is kind of just bland to me. It's like, come on, the whole time I'm thinking to myself, let's move along to more of the adult Michael Myers stuff. That's what I enjoy, seeing adult Michael Myers just wrecking some shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, this movie and Michael, what he does in this movie, and this is one of the goriest movies in the franchise, without a doubt. It might be the goriest movie. I don't know, maybe Halloween Kills or something, but these kills are extra crunchy and extra juicy, which we'll talk about more, of course, later when we talk about the other Rob Zombie movie as well. But I mean, at one point, Michael's using this broken piece of glass from the coroner's car crash and basically just sawing that guy's head off completely, which is a gnarly, juicy one, definitely. And the nurse kill, right? At the hospital, getting stabbed 10 plus times. It's loud. It's in your face. Some fun kills at the strip club too. But I mean, to talk more about that entire hospital scene, I mean, I wish 90% of this movie was set in that hospital or around the hospital, but that's a topic for another time. But we get some great shots of Michael just overall in this movie. Those shots of Michael outside of the hospital in the rain, I cannot lie, are scary as hell. I don't think Rob Zombie gets enough credit sometimes for just the atmosphere he was able to create in both of these movies, especially with Michael, which is great. And yes, of course, in one of the cuts of this movie, you have Michael Myers removing his mask and actually talking when he says die. But to me, that does fit into this timeline a bit, because Michael in this timeline, because he's not this faceless evil in this timeline, but of course, doing something like that, without a doubt, is going to piss off so many fans of this franchise who started with the original movie. But Tyler Mane, though, as Michael Myers in both of these movies is incredible. I'm a huge fan of Tyler Mane and what he does as Michael Myers. He's so scary and brutal and menacing. And this was that time period, right, where you got like Andrew Brzezinski as Leatherface. You had, the bigger, more menacing version of Jason in the 2009 movie. And it's great. I like all of those versions, and Tyler Mane fits right into that. He's scary. He's massive. And he is just a badass Michael Myers in this franchise. And to talk about the mask in this one is good too. I mean, the mask gets torn up, gets basically like ripped in half at one point. And I like it a lot. It's bloody, it's grungy, it's worn, and it's beat up. And I'm just a big fan of not only the mask in this movie, but the mask in Halloween 1 from Rob Zombie as well. But this movie in particular, and how this whole movie has these huge, massive ups and downs and all that stuff, that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. But to me, the Michael Myers, the Tyler Mane version of Myers in this movie fits very well into the vibe of this movie, what Rob Zombie's going for. And once again, like I said, Tyler Mane is just damn good in the second Halloween movie from Rob Zombie. Okay, up next at number 6 is going to be Halloween Kills from 2021. Now in Halloween Kills, this is one of the best masks in the franchise. You take an already incredible mask from 2018 and you just make it more used, more burnt, which I really like a lot. And just the overall look of Myers is one of the best parts about this movie, just in general. I think James Jude Courtney, once again, does a great job in this movie. Also, I gotta shout out Aaron Armstrong, who plays the younger Michael Myers in the flashback. Also a great scene. And yeah, we get two looks to the character. We get the Halloween Kills look with the worn, burnt mask, because Michael, of course, was caught in the fire from 2018. But then you also get the flashback mask, and that version of Michael Myers as well from the flashback which is great. I mean, that's a fan favorite scene. It gets talked about ad nauseum, though. But yeah, Aaron Armstrong, great job there. James Jude Courtney as well. Just very, very good in this movie. So yeah, of course, this movie is called Halloween Kills. And the kills in Halloween Kills from Michael Myers are kind of an up and down thing for me. Yeah, we get the whole firefighter scene. Michael breaks out of the house and there's all these firefighters. And I've talked about this before, but something I wish they would have done with that scene. Yeah, we get a lot of carnage, and I'm a guy who loves my kills in my horror movies, but it feels weird for Michael. I remember the first time watching this scene, I was like, wait, I don't know, it's bloody, and there's some cool kills with like the saw and everything else, but it just feels weird. That didn't feel right for this movie. You know, of course, the kills in the original Halloween 2 are amped up, and the kills in this are crazier and crazier, but it just felt weird. I wish they would have had Michael kind of creep out a back door, sneak around, and then just start slaughtering some of these guys one by one here and there. But it is some good, blood and stuff like that. I think when Michael stabs the lady with the light bulb, that is a gnarly and juicy scene that kind of almost makes you want to cover your ears and your eyes because it's so moist and crunchy. But yeah, you also get another cool kill. That guy, the nurse or doctor guy who's dressed up like that for Halloween, gets the knife in the eye. That's a fun one. But the whole mob scene with Michael Myers is a scene that I absolutely hate. Overall, in these 3 David Gordon Green movies, Michael is shot really well in these movies overall. But this scene, it's shot terribly. It's like all these weird close-ups, and it's like, hey, guy, you take a turn, and then you take a turn, and then you take a turn, and there's like 20 people there, and then Michael just ends up getting up and slaughtering all of them. I don't know, that scene is just crazy. But, one thing great about Michael in this movie is it just feels so much like Michael Myers creeping around on a Halloween night, which is just a great mood and a great vibe from Michael. I think that Kills does very well. And now, like a lot of you, this movie, Halloween Kills, this is not a review of Halloween Kills, but it has massive ups and downs for me. But it's hard to argue that Myers, he just looks great in this entire movie and definitely fucks some people up. And, when we do get multiple versions of the character, of course, the main version in Halloween Kills, or, it's the Kills mask and then also the flashback, like both versions of the character are top notch. All right, up next at number 5 is going to be Halloween 2007. So in this one, it's a very controversial version of Michael, of course. It's Michael Myers more of becoming just a product of his environment instead of this person that's just born purely evil, which might make the character, way less scary for some people. It might also make the character way more scary for people. It's kind of one of those things that's like, are you more afraid of Ghostface, this more believable killer next door kind of a thing? Or are you more afraid of like a supernatural monster instead? But yeah, I think the version where Michael is just like born pure evil is scarier to me personally. I don't know, just this idea of like this kid in your neighborhood who since birth just has this like eeriness and like this evil that you can kind of feel off of him. But yeah, I mean, the Michael in this movie, though, I mean, there is this angle where it is pulled off very well. I mean, this is a very human version of Michael Myers. Yeah, in the original 1978 movie, Michael does feel very human because you haven't gotten to know the character more and more and more. But yeah, you feel like in this movie, like bullets will put him down, bullets will hurt him in a way. You sympathize with the character in this one too. It's like this poor kid who was born into this terrible home situation and now gets to reunite with his baby sister all these years later. I don't know. For me, that's pretty effective. I mean, I have a sister who's 8 years younger than me. I was very protective over her. I enjoyed spending time with her a lot. So I kind of connect to that part of the story. Well, besides the fact that Michael is trying to kill his sister after reuniting with her. But again, I already kind of talked about this in the other, Rob Zombie movie, but Tyler Mane, again, is incredible in this movie and a version of Michael Myers that I really, really like and gives this movie so much rewatchability to me because he's scary. He's massive in this movie. But yeah, I also need to shout out Dag Ferch, who I probably butchered his name in this movie as the young Michael Myers. He's very scary too as a kid and pulls off some of those scenes where he's supposed to be, showing his evil a bit. He pulls it off very well. And I have to mention that scene when Michael kills Danny Trejo's character. It's so important for his character's story. It just shows the relentless evil inside of him now with no hesitation, killing this guy that was so good to him for so many years. I would say what knocks this version behind other versions of Myers in this franchise for me, though, is because the young Myers scenes, I mean, yeah, there's some terrible scenes in there with some terrible dialogue. That's a conversation for another time. But those scenes are just kind of boring to me. Like I already mentioned earlier, I find myself just hoping that we would get to the adult version of Michael way faster. I'm like, come on, guys, let's get to that because I know it's going to be brutal and it's going to be crazy. This movie, though, also does get some bonus points for me because it does have one solid mask. And then it also has one mask that I consider pretty damn incredible. We also get those little paper mache kind of masks that Michael's wearing in the hospital jail or whatever, which are cool too. But yeah, the clean version of the mask in this is good. I like it. It's very different than the original mask, of course, but it also feels still like Halloween. I don't know how they pulled that off, but they did a very good job. But man, that rotten mask in this movie, I still need to get one of those for my collection, but is incredible. I love it. I love how Michael gets it out of the baseboards along with his knife. Very believable there. It's just so damn good. It's grungy, it's cracked, and it just to me fits so well into what Rob Zombie is going for here. It's one of my favorite masks in the entire franchise. And when I think about Michael Myers in this movie, I can't help but think about that whole scene where Michael is walking in chains with all the other guards. Tyler Mane just looks massive in that scene. Definitely the one where he's in the chair with his hands behind it. He looks huge, but he just looks scary. It's like you need all these people to keep this guy down. And it's a totally different version of Myers, and I'm here for it. I really enjoy it. But yeah, there you go. Michael Myers from Halloween 2007 coming in at number 5. All right, up next at number 4 is going to be Halloween H2O from 1998. Now, I know I have the Myers from Halloween H2O, probably a lot higher on this list than a lot of you, but just hear me out. But what about the masks, Matt? What about all the masks in this movie? Now, I know the CGI mask in this movie does look like a cartoon. That's not a good look for this Michael Myers in this. But the mask in this movie, a lot of the masks that I think of when I think about this movie, especially that mask towards the end when he gets his head chopped off, the mask in the window, I think it's great. I think it's scary as hell. It looks very much like a mask that I would expect from a late 90s Michael Myers Halloween movie. You know, we get Chris Durand in this movie playing Michael Myers. And, you know, the reshoots with the masks and all that stuff is messy. And that's something, you know, I don't think Chris Durand, it kind of like overshadows sometimes his performance. But besides that one shot where Michael's walking down the hallway and the camera's kind of below him, looking up at him where his face and his mask and his hair looks a little bit weird. More importantly to me, like the overall look of Michael in Halloween H2O, his stature in this movie, you know, he doesn't look goofy, he doesn't look puffy, he doesn't look silly. I think he does a great job, and I like the look of the character. He looks like he fits this era. He's pretty scary looking in a lot of scenes. He creeps around really well. Yeah, a gripe with Myers in this for a lot of people is we see Myers' eyes a lot. And yeah, I mean, yeah, the blackest eyes, that whole thing. The eyes have never really bothered me a lot because, I mean, hell, even in the original, we see Michael's face. In other versions of the movie, we see Michael's face. Not only just his eyes, and I get that, but sometimes when they refer to the blackest eyes, are they actually referring to like the shadow or not being able to see his eyes at all? Or are they referring to having shark eyes, like black colored eyes? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think. But to me, when you mix Michael Myers with the isolation of this tucked away California school, personally, it's one of the scariest versions of Michael Myers in the franchise, how he navigates this entire movie. Also, you get bonus points that Laurie is so good in this movie. I think it elevates the moments that she's in with Michael, which also just elevates Michael as a character in this movie because Laurie is just that damn good. Now, I don't know the numbers, like how much Michael's in this movie, but it doesn't really feel like Michael is in this movie a lot, but the scenes that Michael is in this movie are just fun as hell to me and very, very effective. I think even just right off the bat, the atmosphere in that opening capped off with the Marion kill. Of course, you get the kill where the ice skate is into the kid's face as well. But just the atmosphere and everything Michael's doing in that opening scene is great and a lot of fun for me. I also really enjoyed the whole cat and mouse scene with Michelle Williams' character and Josh Hartnett's character. I think that's really fun. And that's all capped off with that window shot of Laurie meeting Michael for the first time in all these years. And this isn't a review of Jamie Lee Curtis's facial expressions or her acting, but it's a scene with Michael Myers. And that is just a look of holy shit, but also somebody, I got to get something done right now. And then poof, Michael just kind of disappears into the darkness, more eeriness, more creepiness from the character, which is great. one of my favorite and most memorable kills in this movie. And the kills are not amazing in this movie. They are pretty good. But I like that kill when he stabs Will in the back and he's like seizing, kind of like Kirk in the original Texas Chainsaw when he seizures, which just adds a little something to it. And I think it makes it pretty scary. But yeah, it's very much like a Scream-inspired Michael movie where it's just knife stabs, which I like though. I think it's fun. It's kind of back to the basics. But yeah, but unlike Halloween Ends, where the fight at the end of that movie with Laurie is like, okay, you have these two older people fighting. This fight with Laurie is a badass fight. And this whole sequence with Michael and how it all goes down at the end of the movie is one of the best endings in this entire franchise, without a doubt. But to me, yeah, it's one of my favorite movies in the franchise, which elevates Michael's character for me. And like I said, they go back to the basics with Michael in this movie. And to me, just pull it off really well. So there you go. Michael from H2O coming in at number 4. Okay, moving into the top 3. Up next at number 3 is going to be Halloween 2018. Massive props right off the bat to Christopher Nelson and the rest of his team for creating one of the best and most memorable masks in this entire franchise. It doesn't look weird or goofy. It looks kind of, oddly, like, I guess you could say symmetrical, but still grungy and scary and, without a doubt, emotionless to me. Just a great mask, a fan favorite. I love this mask in this movie. But one gripe I will say about the James Jude Courtney character and how he plays Michael Myers, and I haven't really talked about this with the other iterations of his character in this franchise, but he's a little bit lanky for a Michael Myers portrayal to me. That's just a personal preference. That doesn't mean that it's bad or good, just kind of my personal preference for what I look for in Michael Myers. And yeah, Tyler Mane is a very big and tall guy without a doubt, but Tyler Mane's portrayal of the character feels menacing to me instead of like tall and kind of skinny like James Jude Courtney's character. So that's just kind of a nitpick, but maybe a little bit of a gripe with James Jude Courtney's version of Michael Myers to me. But still, a great portrayal of the character, scary, stalking, creeping through the shadows, and just very good. And kind of like the great gas station scene in H2O, we also get a fun gas station scene with Michael Myers in this movie where the podcasters get killed. I think that's all pulled off really well with Michael kind of dropping the teeth over the stall, which is a lot of fun. We just get great scenes of Michael creeping through the neighborhood on Halloween, which never gets old to me. That's what I want to see in most of my Halloween movies, is Michael in an average suburban American town creeping through between the houses. That's just very scary and very relatable to a lot of us. Of course, it's an homage to the original Halloween 2 where Michael grabs the hammer. We get this like 2.5-minute one take. He kills the lady in there with the hammer, grabs a knife eventually. Just a great scene and very memorable from this movie. But like the original, in this movie, we get Michael creeping around, like I already said, in the shadows. He's stalking his victims, and it's just top notch in this movie. Very different than Halloween Kills, where he's kind of just out in the open with everybody, taking shots, killing them, and he's just not really stalking around as much as he does in 2018. And I just love that version. We also get some fun kills in this movie. Is it the best kills in the entire franchise? No, I wouldn't say that, but the kill where Oscar gets to the fence post through the chin, that's fun as well. Sartain getting his head stomped out. Yes, a trope in the genre without a doubt, but still a kill that I always enjoy. Just gets his head smashed like a pumpkin, which is a lot of fun. And the entire ending with Laurie, because Laurie is very good in 2018, which also elevates Michael's character. But that entire ending with Michael Myers and Laurie Strode is great. I love the idea also at the very end just to have Michael stand there emotionless as the flames behind him erupt. I love that. Fits the character very good. I already kind of mentioned back to the basics. And again, with this movie, yes, they go back to the basics of the original Halloween, that mood, that atmosphere, that portrayal of Michael Myers. And yeah, it's simplistic. Some people would say it's boring and it's been done before, but I just think it's simple but executed so damn well. It's a great new mask. Michael's scary again, and overall it's a great portrayal of the character. So there you go. Halloween, Michael Myers from Halloween 2018 coming in the top 3 at number 3. Okay, up next at number 2 is going to be Halloween 1978. It was the Boogeyman. As a matter of fact, it was. Now, as opposed to what everyone tells you, you don't have to like this Michael Myers. You don't even have to like this movie. This is a Michael Myers and a movie that's more about, atmosphere and the eeriness. This isn't a Rob Zombie movie. This isn't Friday the 13th. This isn't Art the Clown. So if you think this version of Michael Myers is boring or this vibe is just not really your thing, there's nothing wrong with that because, yeah, I mean, I get it. Michael creeps around a lot. He stares through a lot of windows. He sits behind a lot of different hedges and stuff. But to me, this version of Michael Myers is incredible. It's this story of this escaped mental patient with this dark history who's now stalking these young girls, and this guy has really got no moral compass that is in his way. Now let's talk about the Michael Myers mask in Halloween 1978. And I know it sounds cliche to say, but this mask is kind of perfect in its own way. To me, it's just pure, like, emotionless evil. And I try to think to myself, okay, Matt, you don't just love this mask because it's the mask that everybody else loves. I try to compare it to the other masks and just really think about it and the way it looks and everything. And I don't know, it's kind of just, like I said, perfect in its own way. I just imagine like he's killing people with this blank, emotionless face behind it, the blackest eyes, and the mask just fits perfectly into that. I also love in Halloween 1978, towards the end especially, yeah, I'm kind of like, okay, this is just like an escaped mental patient killing people, just doing crazy shit. But, oh wait, there's more to the character. We get a little bit of a hint at the end of the movie, and they make you use your imagination. They're not giving you too much about the backstory of the character, the origin of the character, the origin of his evil, and they're not telling you what he just isn't and what he is. Really, they're making you use your imagination, which is just great and fits into this movie very, very well because, of course, it's the atmosphere of it. They're making you use kind of like fear in your head to like drive the fear in this movie. They're not giving you any crazy kills. They're not giving you any like crazy jump scares. It's just the eeriness of it and all that. But I will say, yeah, this is not the bloodiest Halloween movie by any means, or even the bloodiest horror movie, without a question. It's just not. But still, the kills are very, very effective. They're very subtle, but very scary from Michael Myers. I mean, Judas kill in the beginning, that's definitely scary. The Bob kill is without a doubt very iconic. And Annie's kill in the car is definitely one of the scariest kills in the entire franchise. You've got this dark, foggy car. Really, all you can hear for a moment is just loud breathing from Michael. It's almost like he's getting off on killing this poor young girl. It's very sinister. He's getting his hands in there and very scary. And yeah, Nick Castle as the Shape, come on, incredible. But man, I mean, that whole closet scene towards the end of the movie, then Nick Castle showing off his young core with, the sit-up, just the entire ending. I mean, it is just legendary shit, man. You mix the mask, the creepiness of Myers, the subtle but scary kills. I mean, this Michael Myers from 1978 is damn near perfection. So regardless that I have Michael Myers at number 2 from 1978, at number 2 on my list, that doesn't mean that it's not incredible. There's just some subtleties that put this next version of Michael Myers a little bit above 1978, which, like I said, regardless, is an incredible version of Michael Myers. So there you go, Michael Myers from Halloween 1978 coming in at number 2 on my list. And of course, coming in at number 1 as my favorite Michael Myers in the entire Halloween franchise is Michael Myers from Halloween 2 from 1981. Yeah, and Myers is basically like, all right, everything that happened in 1978 has just made him more pissed. I mean, he's been shot over and over. Hell, 7 rounds out of a 6-round revolver's been fired into him. But yeah, Michael's kills in this movie are incredible. The kills in Halloween 2 are my favorite in the entire franchise. We get Bud's kill in the therapy room, like his silhouette in the background. And yeah, some movies in this franchise definitely disrespect the Myers character, but not in this movie though. Michael gets his fingers sucked on by a hot, naked nurse before he just gets to more killing. He gets that like sinister, scary, brutal kill of Nurse Karen in the hot tub, right? Nurse Janet getting the syringe in the temple. Nurse Jill getting the scalpel lifted up. That's an iconic kill without a doubt, but even the kills that are off screen are so damn good. You got the doctor with the syringe in the eyeball. That scene is just great. The other nurse with her blood drained. You're like, holy shit, this is crazy. Also, I will say, The Mask from Halloween 2, 1981, is my personal favorite mask in the entire franchise, which definitely gives this movie some bonus points. You know, it's the mask from 1978, but it's more worn, it's more gritty, it's scary. It also fits on Dick Warlock's face in a certain way. It's like a little bit more rounded, a little bit more oval. It's just scary. We get some great shots of the mask and like red lighting and some other scenes in the shadows, which also makes it very scary, very similar to some of the scenes that we see in 1978. But we also get the blood tears mask, which is just a great scene in general. But yeah, an iconic look for the character. It's not a different mask, but yeah, blood coming down from the face, which is just an awesome shot and a great sequence. With Myers in this movie too, I mean, a lot of people complain about the whole brother and sister timeline, and I get some of the gripes. I get both sides of the story. To me, it's never really bothered me. Also, I know, Dick Warlock gets some flack sometimes for how he portrays the character, but I really like the way that Dick Warlock portrays Michael Myers in this movie. It's like this robotic, nonchalant, like zombie version of Michael, which is scary and just awesome. I mean, that whole scene where Dick Warlock bumps into the little kid and then robotically, like a zombie moving towards its next victim, walks past the Haddonfield Memorial sign. The shots of Dick Warlock walking down the stairs in the hospital, walking through the hallways of the hospital are eerie and just great. And also, that shot of Michael walking through the glass at the hospital too. It's just like this unstoppable robotic zombie force that's been shot a bunch of times. It's scary and it's just great. I love it. Also, bonus points for Michael creeping around a hospital late at night, which to me, I've mentioned this in previous videos. A lot of you have been around my channel. I've heard me talk about this. Hospital settings are just incredible settings for horror movies, and that elevates Michael's character in this movie and just makes everything better. Now, to kind of sum up why Myers from Halloween 2 is my favorite in the entire franchise is we still get the mask from the original, but it's more worn, it's more gritty. We still get kind of the mood and the atmosphere from the original in a lot of different scenes, but the kills are just turned up a notch. Not only that, the kills are creative, and major props to Dean Cundey for how he just shot Myers in this movie, because it's just like scene after scene after scene where I'm like, holy shit, that's a great shot of him, which to me just elevates the character in this movie. But there you go, everybody. Michael Myers from the original Halloween 2 is my favorite Michael Myers in the entire franchise. Thanks so much for watching my ranking of all the Michael Myers in the entire franchise. Let me know down in the comments down below how you rank the Michaels in this franchise. Thanks so much for watching. If you want some more content from me right now, go ahead and check out one of these videos next to me. Make sure you subscribe as well so you don't miss future content. That's the best way to do that. But again, thank you for watching. My name is Matt, and I will talk to you all in the next one.